change your mind.
You require my assistance? We're gonna be rich.
Games.
Inferno! Require my assistance? Who am I?
Let me change your mind.
Greeting, traveler.
Games.
Hello, THL, and welcome to another exciting episode of Tavern Talk, where we discuss taverns and talk about them, and then we get shushed by my son for talking too loudly. I'm Dano, and this week you might notice that we have a pretty fantastic guest in Rhat with us. But first we have JR, who is obviously the star of the show every single week. JR, how are you doing today?
I'd be very thrilled that you said that if I didn't know you were being sarcastic.
I wasn't being sarcastic. Best part of the show.
You
it's
say
not even
that
close.
now, but Twitch chat is on to you.
Well, Twitch chat is smart. Hey, Buse, yes, they're all ASMR episodes when I'm involved, right?
That's one way of putting it.
But Hat, thank you so much for joining us.
Guys.
So, should we jump? I mean, no, Dano is not the best part pawn. That is not at all anywhere close. But let's jump right into it, right? We have an hour, and we always go over our hour. So let's see if we can stay a little bit on topic here. So first, we're gonna get into our Rhat stats meta review, and we actually have our Rhat with us, so we can discuss our Rhat stats with our Rhat, which should be a bunch of fun. So top 5 lineups that were brought by frequency: Demon Hunter, Druid, Hunter, Warrior, with a 56% win rate. So like, well done there. Demon Hunter, Hunter, Mage, Warrior did pretty well. Hunter, Mage, Rogue, Warrior. No Demon Hunter, no bueno with a 40% win rate. Demon Hunter, Hunter, Rogue, Warrior with a really pretty small win rate there. And then Hunter, Mage, Priest, Warrior. Anything stand out to either of you?
I'll let Hack go first because I'm still thinking.
You should probably not be bringing Rogue to THL right now. It's really not doing well outside of Shaman, which is, I guess, technically a class. Rogue was both the worst class last week with a 42.86 overall % win rate, and so far this season, 45% win rate overall. It is the worst real class, and Shaman doesn't exist, so we don't have to count that. I'd apologize, Dan, but you know it's true. You know it's true.
I've been doing pretty okay with Rogue.
Okay,
Same.
Shaman is still overloaded from the Galakron Shaman nerfs, and we'll get to play it again next expansion, maybe. But
I
like,
have a 100% win rate with Shaman in THL. Thank you very much.
how many?
50% win rate. 50%.
That's not the same number.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So Rogue, I think, is just any lineup that include Rogue saw a very poor win rate. Hunter, Mage, Rogue, Warrior did include Demon Hunter, which is kind of silly. But also an overall win rate. That's the best lineup that included Rogue, and for that to be the best we can do there is kind of unfortunate. The Hunter, Rogue, Warrior lineup with DH, even worse. And there is a lineup that's below these: Demon Hunter, Hunter, Mage, Rogue with no Warrior. Was played 4 times and it went 3-12 in games. Did not win a single match. Oof. So if you're bringing Rogue, you need to have a really good reason. But I don't know what it's targeting, especially now that people have kind of wised up to the fact that maybe Priest is a little sketchy. And that is the best target. And also, it's contentious if Rogue even beats Priest. So it's unclear because our stats indicate that Priest is beating Rogue a little bit over half of the time so far.
Though I specifically remember a point where the stats showed that Rogue was pretty favored against Priest.
Yeah, it's a contentious, and it's very much dependent on lists as well, because there's not really consensus on what is the best Rogue list. It was definitely better when Hanar was better. But as of right now, let's look at the Master Store data, which I also happen to have up, which is outside of our little bubble. It looks like Rogue is definitely pretty favored against Priest in Master Store qualifiers. There might be something that they figured out that we haven't. But if you're not targeting Priest, then you're probably not winning all that much with Rogue.
Or at least you shouldn't be relying on that if your target is Priest.
Well, yeah. Or, I mean, and sometimes Conquest, you just can't target because there is a meta where, 6 of the classes are playable. And so you just bring your best decks.
Yeah. I'd just be surprised if Rogue was one of the best decks for anybody that had tested the format pretty widely. I would really love to bring Rogue. It's my favorite class. Would love to play it. I've given up on it after week 2, and it remains to be seen if that turns around. But I just don't have faith in it against anything right now.
I think Rogue's in a weird spot because it was so dependent on the secrets, and they nerfed the secret generator.
I think there is.
I don't think it necessarily was.
Yeah, it totally was, because they would go off and then it would win, or it wouldn't and it would lose. And then it also
Galakron, which is not a secret.
Yeah, no, it had Galakron in it, but then it also had all the secret hit cards, right? Where it had the freezing trap on a stick, right?
Yeah, so I'm just questioning if that was a core part of the deck, because I think it seemed like it was, but those cards were pretty slow, and it really depended on if people knew how to play around the secrets or not. Because once people figured that out and started including Frozen Shadow Weaver in their decks, Ambush got a lot worse.
Yeah. I don't necessarily. Never was a fan of the secret package in Rogue. But I do think a lot of people were dependent on it, and it was just like a tempo 1/2. If you can kill my 1/5, you win the game. And if you can't kill my 1/5, then I'm gonna go off with a couple secrets here, and then if you can't, follow up with them, then I get to win the game. I think it was like a crutch for a lot of people playing Rogue, was this 1/5 that could have infinite secret value. where I don't think that's necessarily had to be the way they played the game. So
Just remains to be seen. Its Rogue doesn't have great life gain, and the tools that it has available to it are kind of available in other classes. And I just don't have a lot of faith in either the Demon Hunter or the Warrior matchup. And while you can't necessarily target in this meta, you can probably expect one of those two classes, and neither of them feel like they're favored for the Rogue.
fair enough.
So I will just say I've cooled a lot on this deck. And just to add to this, I think the biggest problem with Rogue, frankly, is with the prevalence of Demon Hunter and Hunter being very strong matchups for those decks and very weak for Rogue. I definitely think that creates a lot of problems. I do think there is a good strategy to be found in Rogue that I've been using in Pro and has worked for me. But I also am definitely hesitant to bring it, nowadays compared to, in previous weeks. So, I'm definitely feeling both of your opinions on this one.
Yeah, for sure. So we just got the little bird on my shoulders, had time to move on. So let's move on to the last week review. Just as a review, each host will have 90 seconds to talk about to review the match. Other hosts will have around 30 seconds for comments. This will be timed by the rope. It is not any of us playing Hearthstone. We're just, I have a rope button that hits, and then after a certain period of time, the rope goes off. Yeah, and so right on to the review. I get to start with the Teenage Mutant Demon Hunters versus Serenite Pangang. Holy smokes, right? So this was just an absolute beatdown, and I get to hit the beatdown button because
Yes, you do.
20-4 is painful. And the only close one was Heat Shock versus Dr. Bomdi, and the rest were kind of just brutal with either sweeps or 3-1 wins. And that included Rage Doppel banning the Paladin against Travis Chrono. But to be fair, Mage, Paladin, Priest, Rogue, you kind of got to pick your. It was fourth decks, kind of. So you kind of pick what you wanted to play against and whatnot. But that being said, that one's got to hurt. Serenite Pangang really in a tough spot now for sure. And they're going to have to really pull it together and turn it around now. I mean, I know no team's in the same spot, but these kind of weeks really, really hurt. So anybody else?
Something I've learned about this season is whatever Heat Shock is doing, you want to be around it if you want to win. Heat Shock is currently 10-2 in matches between 3 different series and 33-20 in games. They are winning 2/3 of their games. Follow whatever Heat Shock is doing because it's working.
Nice. Yeah, it's good to know. I will just copy Heat Shock from now on for sure.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Don't copy Heat Shock's decks and then bring them to the pro finals because he brought Combo Priest the week before, and I copied the deck list and it didn't work out because he rotated out of standard.
We don't talk about that story, Hat.
I can talk about it.
That's fair. You can talk about it now, but I remember at the time you didn't want to talk about it.
That is correct. Yes. Oh, yeah. The night that I got disqualified from the pro finals, I wasn't super chatty. That is correct.
Which I don't blame you for, but it has to be said.
All right, let's move on to Murgle McGurgle versus the Blood Bloomers. What do you got for us, our Hat?
So in this match, Murgle is actually quite a strong team here. And while Dabs didn't win their match, they did win a qualifier. Congrats, Dabs. Well done.
All right.
Yeah.
And the team still had Murgle covered, even though Adamos, if you don't know Adamos, they have the 1,000-win Demon Hunter portrait already. They play a lot of Hearthstone. But Murgle is still one of the teams to beat in gold, second in the division, third overall. Blood Bloomers have a fighting chance, solidly middle of the pack, but they haven't played against the strongest opponents so far. Their average opponent strength is a little on the lower side. Still, solid team. I have a lot of faith in the Sanguine squad. Be aware also, G-Kick in the 5, super crazy, super absurd. Really, really strong player that they played a long time ago in THL. But I think if they re-registered now, their PR would be a bit higher. I would struggle to bet against them most of the time.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't really have anything other to say. Buse and Buse's 4 alts doing really, really good. I'm not going to bet against any of them, even though I'm going to this week because we're playing them.
Wait, do you think that he's abusing the honor system?
I think so.
Hey.
I very much think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just wanted to make the pun. I don't actually think that.
This was definitely a fun one, though. I'm definitely glad to see though that the Blood Bloomers still got some momentum going for them, and their 1 and 2 seeds are performing very well. So I think if they're 3 and 4, especially, can pick things up, which is certainly possible, I think they could really turn it around.
Yeah, Adamos, Sanguine, and Silver T Fox. I have faith that 2 of those 3 are going to win every week. And then it's just Ator and Medusas, right? Which one of those 2 are gonna be able to pick it up? And I think if they're able to kind of find that, where I think they'll be in the playoffs for sure. It's a good team, it just kind of hasn't been clicking necessarily, right? And then Silver T Fox, who's had a really good season, just ran into a buzzsaw that's called G Kick. So
I mean, they're still doing fine, right? They're in the middle of the standings. They're 2 and 2.
Oh, they're doing great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, point wise, they're really solid for a 2-2 team. 59 points is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
No,
I have
was
faith
just
in
saying
Blood
that.
Bloomers to hold on here. I'm not sure about a playoff run, but I think as of right now that they're definitely not out of it yet.
For sure.
No. All right, cool. A Hot Zilfs versus a Noyo team. What wonderful things do you have to say, JR?
I mean, I tried to tone it down a little bit just for you, Dano. Just for you. Honestly, no. The thing is, though, I feel really bad for TAT because, they actually did get 2 solid wins, but it hurts to watch that they got swept in all of their losses. I mean, damn.
Come on,
oof.
man. Keep it PG. How many? I don't have a buzz button. Can we please stop the swearing?
Whoa, wait, was that actually considered swearing?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
No, he meant that their opponents built a dam to stop you from getting any wins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No,
It's a Hoover Dam because y'all sucked.
Ooh.
Yeah. So to be fair,
Ouch.
I was super happy with my play against Robobson. Except for 2 turns, I was real happy with how I played. And unfortunately, those 2 turns I ran out of time and didn't finish my turn. And it cost me 1 match for sure. It just absolutely cost. I lost the game because of it. And the other one, it was poor. So I'm not at all upset. I mean, 200 PR difference against Robobson. Yeah, I'm not really gonna I'm not gonna feel bad about that one at all. Super proud of a Mage and Zethund with just a Mage with just a huge win, and then Zethund with beating Donde and then moving up to the 2 seed this next week. So super happy with them. So
I have a lot of faith in this team and a lot of
I'm not good.
So
I have 3 wins with Demon Hunter. It's just not going to happen. I'm not bringing it. I do not have enough time to play this game to learn a class I'm never going to want to play outside of THL. So I'm not going to bring DH.
that's what I should have. That's what I should have said to Rhat regarding a later segment, but we'll get to that. The only other thing I will just say is that it is very interesting to me how Hot Zilfs started off with a loss in week 1 and then just said, you know what, that was just a fluke. We are the same team we were last season and we are going to bring it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're extremely, they're still very much in this, and something tells me that upward momentum is going to continue.
They're a good team, right? And then you have Donde, who's a legitimately good player, sitting at 1 and 3, right? That's just not going to continue. Donde is going to find his wins.
Illegitimately good player.
This is a man who made top 4 in every single series he was in last season.
Yeah,
all 3.
He's gonna do just fine, I think.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think Hot Zilf's heck of a team, and then Jim is he's feeling this meta, right? He's doing well in both Hero and Legacy, so he's a tough one in the 5 for sure.
All right, I know we don't have a lot of time on this one yet, but I know your team. I'm on your hero team. Speaking from love, there is no pride in the classes you choose not to play unless you're also getting the wins. Right? Don't be proud of what you won't play unless your scoreboard indicates you're doing well.
So
he's saying get your stuff together.
No,
you and Matt are better than this. I
Well, yeah,
100% believe that you and Matt
for
are better
sure.
than this.
But like rogue wasn't the problem. My rogue play was actually good.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you say I'm not going to bring Demon Hunter, that
well,
says
I'm not gonna bring a class that I don't play, right? Like I just
what's
legitimately
the
I'm
fix
not-
to that? Go play some Demon Hunter.
But like then I'm not playing warrior, right? And warrior is a far more important class to bring than demon hunter. So I'm picking and choosing what I'm playing. So like I'm either playing warrior or I'm playing demon hunter, and warrior is a far more difficult deck and a far more important bring. So like if I'm gonna pick or choose which one I'm gonna be practicing on my spare time, it's gonna be warrior.
I
That's
would
kind of where
challenge the
I'm at,
important
right?
bring part, and I would also say that Demon Hunter is really rewarding of practice and really punishing of lack of practice. It's close and it's better than it seems.
Oh.
And the only reason the stats so far for THL for Legacy are indicating that it's right in the middle of the pack is because people are expecting it and are not getting the reps, and they're bringing it because they feel like they have to. You don't have to, but saying you're not going to learn it is indicating that you're kind of committed to the strategy you have here, but this strategy doesn't seem to be working yet. So there's got to be some merit to looking at a different one.
Well, I mean, I brought Demon Hunter twice, so it's not like I haven't been not bringing Demon Hunter. I did bring it. I brought it twice, and I got a win with it in Legacy, actually, against Liquid Ox, or against in the Hero. Thank you very much.
If you're winning against Ox, bring that deck. Do that.
It
got
was
a point
Big
there.
Demon Hunter. It was Big Demon Hunter. I was
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my god.
Okay,
figured I
then
could get
that's
a-
even better.
I don't even know what to say to that, honestly. Pat,
That's
I'll leave that to you.
Dan, you are the pit commander. Let's go to the next match where it's Stubbs versus ATL. Hit it, Ducharmo. So Stubbs versus ATL. This match is closer than the record appears. It was 5 wins for Stubbs, but they were hard-fought battles, and these are against two teams that are right in the middle of the pack. ATL still very strong, but this one hurts. ATL has faced the easiest schedule in the conference so far. They have the lowest AOS. Stubbs aren't much better, but they are better. But unfortunately, ATL hit a big wall here. They dropped a 2-2 overall. And I think it's fair to call this version of ATL and Legacy a middle-of-the-pack team. Pond, do not at me. I see you in chat. Do not at me.
You know he's there, so.
I know he's there. It's worth noting that if it wasn't for the big statement win this week, Stubbs would have been at the bottom of the standing, right? Because they gained 20 points. And they have 60 points. So like this was a really big chunk of that. And they're 3-1 and they're doing all right. But this was a big statement win, proving for sure that they have gas in the tank. And they're moving up in the gold conference. Now, I don't think it means that ATL is a bad team. I don't think they are. I don't think it means that Stubbs is a great team. I'm not sure they are either. But I think it means this week lined up well for Stubbs. And notice what classes are in the third column for ATL. 3 rogues.
Dear God.
I'm not going to say that's why. I'm just throwing it out there.
No. What you mean to say is, I'm not saying that's why they lost, but I'm not saying that either.
I mean, but you're also saying that they lost in the 1 and the 5 because their 2, 3, and 4 brought rogues?
I'm saying if there's a strategy that aligns your team to bring rogue, there is something misaligned with how you have prepared for this format.
I think that's just so dogmatic. It just doesn't. That's just not how the real world works.
Scoreboard.
In a perfect world where everybody's getting GM type of practice in, yeah, for sure, you bring the best deck, right? But in a world where some of us play casually, we have a limited amount of time to play. We're not going to be able to practice day in and day out. That's just not. We're not going to be able to bring the best decks, and we're going to bring our best decks, right? Like that's part of what makes THL super fun. Is that we're not pros, and we're never going to be pros. And some of us are, and they're incredible players, but some of us aren't. And I mean, the season I was MVP, I was targeting Priest when everybody said Priest was untargetable, right? So if you have a strategy and you're putting the playtime in and what you want to put it in, you can be successful. Like being dogmatic and saying that you cannot bring rogue is just.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
true.
I believe there was a misalignment here that when you have a win in 5 matches, right? When you have 5 matches, one team over the other, there was clearly some kind of preparation advantage there. I don't think that happens through sheer variance. And if we're talking about the playtime argument, A2 Battleship is in 4 different series. They have played 70 games so far in THL this season. I don't buy the playtime argument. Don't buy that.
And I'm not saying I'm not going to say it's for everybody either, right? But like he also didn't bring rogue. So like,
and he didn't bring Demon Hunter either.
Yeah, no, he didn't. But like, I'm going to forgive Demon Hunter this week a little bit because I think people were like, so the first week everyone had no idea, right? I think the second week after the nerfs, people should have known better. But I mean, it's still kind of a fresh-ish meta, right? So
Oh yeah, it's really
I don't
hard.
know.
It's a really difficult meta, and I don't believe that ATL is a bad team. I think that something in the prep missed the mark, and their deck brings look a little bit less consistent than Stubbs, a little bit, right? We've got, I mean, I guess we got 5 hunters from
Okay.
both, but 5 DHs as well.
All right. Moving on, the only thing I will just say quickly is that I think Dano makes a good point, and I think the main problem isn't necessarily how casual people are, but I do think you need to consider how many nerfs have happened and how much that's thrown things off, because that's given us less time to prep than we normally would in a season where we wouldn't necessarily expect this many nerfs. Okay? Let's leave it at that.
No, I think it's fine. I don't think anybody's. I'm not saying Hat's wrong. I also just think that it's okay to have fairness. And I think Druid is tough, right? I think, who was it? I think it was one of the GMs was saying that Druid is like 2 and a crazy number, like just massive like losing rate in GM, and that anybody that's brought it 1 week and then lost it, nobody's brought it a second week except for one person. So Spell Druid is in a really bad spot for GMs, and if it's in a bad spot for GM, sometimes, not always, it's also bad for like casually competitive as well. Although like GM metas and THL metas have very like not matched up well in the past because of just playtime.
And it's interesting as well to note that in the qualifiers, the 2 of the 3 best decks in qualifiers this past week were both Druid decks.
Yeah,
Both of them were Druid decks.
which I know, and I've hardly played any spell Druid or come up against any spell Druid, so it's just like Twitter talk, right? But I think it's interesting that is there something there that maybe either without enough prep, or if somebody has enough prep against it, where it's a little bit weaker than maybe you would get if you were just putting in like a couple scrims and then some time on ladder with it. I don't know the answer, but I wonder if there's something there. I don't know. I have no idea, but I thought it was interesting to think about. So,
yeah. Either way, ATL not out. Distubs not guaranteed, but hard fought match between both teams, and I think it was closer than the record showed. Dana, why don't you tell us about Defias versus Amberflight Gaming?
I'm going to, because it breaks my heart that Amberflight Gaming is still not winning. Like, I really, really want them to win, and I kind of like, and I love a Noyo team, but at this point, like, I would take Amberflight Gaming going on like a win streak for the rest of the season if it meant like a Noyo team. Like, I would take some close losses, because there's some real nice people there. They're just not winning. It's bumming me out. I feel real bad for Christine and Krakowak. I can't say the name. I know Christine. I've seen her stream. Krakowak. She's not a 0-4 player. She's just not. And not bringing the warrior, I kind of consider that a mistake. But again, you brought
it's about their
Hunter.
prep time, Dan. You got to make sure that you have the time to put it on all your decks. It's really important. We want to make sure that we give them the benefit of the doubt here.
I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. I was saying I can understand it.
Someone really handsome told me that.
Y'all are killing me tonight, I swear.
You should come in.
So you must not be a rogue.
You should come out, hang on the Squelch Discord a little bit. It gets salty. Dragon Rider and Neji Boston, big wins. Lemons, kind of a bummer, but Lemons has 1 win out of 4, and the only week he won, he brought Shaman. So I'm not saying he should be bringing Shaman every week, but Lemons, you should be bringing Shaman every week.
And we're not saying that's going to come up again later, but it's going to come up again later.
Anything to add?
Amberflight is the players are better than their record indicates, but this is a demonstration of how experienced and strong ladder players can have difficulty adapting to tournaments and to BO5s if they haven't done it before. I don't know how much experience Christine and Krakowak have with Conquest, but it looks like it's a bit of a stumbling block the first time that you see it. The other thing to note about Amberflight Gaming, Neji Boston is the stone cold nuts. Do not ever sleep on Neji Boston. Do not bet against him. He is a beast.
Watch his stream too. Guy's quite a player.
Ooh, actually, I've never even tuned in. I'll have to do that. That's actually a really good point.
Yes.
Thank you.
Excellent player.
Twitter helps you find a lot, Dano.
I don't think I follow him on Twitter.
Being on Twitter is all.
That is your biggest misplay of the night.
And trust
You
me,
gotta
there
fix
are a
that.
lot more coming because I'm playing
God.
hero game later tonight. So
No. If this is going to stay your biggest misplay of the day, that's the deal. We're committing. We're hard committing. Why don't we
I
talk
feel
about the?
extremely confident, and I'd be worried.
Why don't
I'm
we
feeling
jump
pretty
over
good.
to the
I feel like
red
I've got a lot of prep in
conference?
this week. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
No.
All right, how about Good Luck Albatrosses versus Chaos Theory?
Yes, the Good Luck Albatrosses. So we're jumping over to the red conference now. GLA, they cannot be stopped. There was no nerf for the Good Luck Albatross. They're still 3 mana. And Lotus breaks the slump with that win over Hockey in the 1 with Rogue, interestingly enough. And neither player brought Demon Hunter. How about that? Interesting. Inzi moves to 4-0 in the 2 over Isocles. So that's a really solid win. Ducharmo managed to get the DQ win there, but didn't even matter because Chewbacca was also able to lock it up over Barcode. And watch it for Mike Lowe in the 4. Really nice for Chaos Theory. And Mike is a great pickup. Gonna overperform in the 4 seed. Overall, Chaos Theory though, they're kind of not really coming together. There's not really a lot of cohesion, and you can actually look at the classes for both of these teams. It's interesting that GLA, they didn't decide to bring the same classes, but they had the same ban strategy, just a different way to go about executing it. And I think that's a really interesting indication. Whereas if you look at Chaos Theory's bans, they're kind of all over the place. There's not as much consistency over there. I don't think you need to see a team that has the same numbers or same letters all the way down. But you can tell that GLA started their prep. What do we bring if we know we don't want to play against Highlander Hunter? And that's part of the reason why there's no DH in that lineup, because DH is a Hunter target. And it happened to work out really well for them. So I think that GLA, as the current #1 point leader in Legacy, is going to be hard to stop.
Yeah, they're really, really good. And Chaos Theory, who like came out the gates like firing on all cylinders. I think that was a mixed metaphor, but hey, it is what it is. Struggle. I think they 0-3 now. I feel bad for Isocles because it seems like every week he's playing just the best player in the series. But
I think he made a comment that he's played undefeated players the last 4 weeks.
well,
Okay, they don't have to stay undefeated, Isocles. That's on you, bro. Fix it. Make them defeated.
He's in chat, so I would love to see his response to that.
Oh, the cylinders.
The only thing I will just say quickly, Chaos Theory, it should be noted, they swept the first week and then have lost the last 3. Good Luck Albatrosses are actually in the same exact position as Teenage Mutant Demon Hunters, where they've only lost 6 matches over the course of the first 4 weeks. That's
awesome.
Quite a win, right?
Solid squad right there.
I know you're trying, Isocles. That's a good way to end it. All right, let's go on to Redacted versus Dirty Mike and the boys. JR, let us know what's going on with that first.
Redacted, man, they are coming in swinging. The Redacted moves to 3-1, and they deliver Dirty Mike and the boys their very first loss. And if I remember correctly, they were the last undefeated team in all of Legacy going into this week. So now they moved to 2-1 and
they had
1.
a tie. They had a tie.
But that's not defeated,
Right,
though.
It's not defeated?
That's still
No. That's tied.
I've been saying the same thing about my team in pro until last week, so damn it, I'm going to be consistent.
You're killing
but no,
me, JR.
this was a drag out of a match. 14-12 in favor of Redacted. No Glocko, Agent Pee-wee. Is Pee-wee or PWE? I forget how we pronounce that.
It's PWE, but then people started calling him Pee-wee, and I think he likes PWE, so now I'm calling him Pee-wee. I'm not sure, though.
I'm calling him PWE because I have more respect than you guys.
I think he's fantastic. I was on the PWE train before he was in THL because he was playing in
Oh yeah,
Aspirin.
So he and Pat.
I've got a suggestion. How about Agent?
Well, then how do we know if it's orange though, right? I mean, that's kind of harsh. I mean,
is Orange playing in THL?
No, like guys. Agent Orange, like a chemical? I don't know.
Yeah,
I was just trying to come up with something.
Chemicals that were used in Vietnam are unlikely to be playing a children's card game.
It's probably fair. Too soon for Agent Orange joke? Too soon?
I just don't think there's a lot of ambiguity there.
Yeah. So yeah, this was 14-12 in favor of Redacted. It really came down to the difference maker was, of course, the 1 seed. Dirty Mike and the boys are still doing pretty well for themselves, though. They're only 2 points behind Redacted, and most of their players are doing at least decently. Astro Frog's the only one who's really struggling, and I have a feel, and you know what? It's his first season. I'm sure he'll find a way to turn things around, but it's definitely excuse me. It's definitely he's definitely having a rough time right now. But both of these teams have an undefeated player going into week 5, and now in the case of Redacted, Agent PWE is 5-0, so going into week 6. I think both these teams have some strong momentum, and I'm very curious to see where they go.
Why is Pasca in the 5 seed?
It's so
I'm wondering the
unfair,
same
right?
thing.
It's
Why is
actually
that a
cheating.
thing?
It's
It
like,
is downright
it has to be
unfair.
cheating,
Why
right?
is Tony
Because
in the 3 seed for Dirty Mike? Tony, I have
Something
played
happened
against
there. I
Tony
have no
almost
idea.
every season in Legacy in the 1. How is Tony in the 3? I have played against him like 4 or 5 times in the 1.
So don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure what happened was Dirty Mike and the boys struggled so much last season. Pretty much all their players really struggled. So I'm pretty sure he just ended up tanking his PR from playing last season. I could be wrong, but I think that's what happened.
Yeah, it's either way. Tony in the 3, insane. Pasca in the 5, insane, and Agent 5-0.
He wrecked me.
5-0. So undefeated, but not undefeated with a tie. No, it's X and 0 undefeated. So PWE doing really well. This was.
I will just say my loss to Tony was my most frustrating loss all season because I lost 2 matchups that were particularly favored, and he managed to pull something out. So, good for him.
Was he playing Demon Hunter?
No.
Okay.
It was I was playing Hunter and he was playing Priest and Rogue.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Did not expect that.
yeah, Liquidox being in the 3 in Hero is crazy. I will agree. When I got stomped by him,
Except he's not in the 3 anymore.
figures.
Yeah, right.
Actually, I can't remember if it was Hero. It had to have been Hero, right? Because we're in different conferences.
No, it was Hero.
Yeah. Where are we? I completely lost track of where we are. We are
Your match,
moving
HSA
on.
versus Dad Legend. Yeah.
Ooh, HSA versus Dad Legend. Yeah. So this is awkward, right? I guess this is the real Dad Legend. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of stunned because these are I know 4 of these 5 players from a couple of them personally. I don't know Zabe, but from playing last season, and they are bonkers good, right? And to see Zabe 50%, Yellow Dart 50, Myanodon 1-3, Turd 1-3, it's just crazy surprising to me. That being said, all the credit in the world to Based in the 1 seed. And is that like BGH? We're talking like BGH type of win right there with 378 over 550.
I would definitely say it's a contender.
It is not I mean, this is public information. You can look. I believe that is the 6th biggest upset so far this season.
Say what now?
Holy smokes!
The 6th biggest, but the number 1 is always listed on the player stats page. You can see it on the right side.
Yeah, cool. Sorry about that.
Damn.
But yeah, Base. It's a huge win over Zabe. Kudos to her. Booze, MVP type of play right here in the 3, just doing work week in and week out. And then Ghost, who kind of you kind of miss Ghost because they're, I think, transparent and invisible because they're a Ghost. But 3-1 in the 4 is really, really good. And I mean, this is a team any one of them could be in the 1 seed 1 week and in the 3 the next. So kudos to them for putting together a pretty good, okay season. A huge win against Dad Legend, 2-2, 59 points. My hat's off to them. I'm excited that Hearthstone Academy is doing so
right
well.
here.
So.
No, you
took me off.
I took you off what?
You said hats off.
Because he said hats off.
Oh, I was like, what'd I do?
You gotta keep up.
I just
shenanigans.
I call PR cowards. Yes, Buse. Take a stand.
You can see real PR, by the way, on the dashboard. Yeah, it's visible. You're welcome to go take a look.
Yep.
All these things are on our website, teamhearthlegends.com, which you can check out. We have stats, we have information. If you click the stats, then you see the stats. It's all Team Hearth.
And this is why our hat is Bay, because he knows everything.
He does know everything.
I make the spreadsheets know everything, and I make it go on the website.
It's magic.
Buse, that's a big mood. Buse says, I say things but don't act on things. Big mood.
Twitch chat, after all. Buse speaks for all of Twitch chat.
I'm just gonna say rip Buse after that.
That's a big mood.
Something's happening to Buse after this. I'm sorry.
No, it's I relate very, very hard. I'm all about that.
Our hat is Freddy Krueger confirmed.
I think the highlighting and unhighlighting in the show notes is Desharmo telling us to move it along. So F2L Red versus Beast Mode. What have you got for us, Hat?
Well, F2L remembered this week. It was very close. But MMI proved MMI in the one. I have played against MMI a bunch of times in the one, and there are one seeds, very talented one seeds in THL that I feel like I can put up a fight against. And then there's MMI, and every time I play against him, he's super courteous and really nice and decimates me, and afterwards always tells me it was an honor to play against you. And I'm like, dude, you can't, that hurts. He squirts lemon juice on the open wound, but like, really nice guy, and also doing really well so far, and was able to take it over Avi. But the rest of the team, the rest of Beast Mode, was able to put it together. Bill is low-key crushing it across multiple series. Also a great wild teammate, by the way, if you need Deckless. Zancat was able to get the win over Lemur. Lemur is actually stepping into F2O Red permanently over Icon, who stepped back so far. I do think that Lemur will just need a little bit of time to crack off the rust. Shiny Pants finally got a win, but 8-Bit in the 5 was able to take it. It's Beast Mode earned some much-needed points to avoid the bottom of the Red Conference. F2L has a lot of talent, better than their record indicates, as I said a few times, but their AOS is also really low. Something about F2L across multiple series is just not quite clicking the same way that we're used to seeing from this collection of players, and I'm not sure what it is, but this is a team and an organization almost with a history of success, and I'm wondering what is going on this season that's keeping that from happening as consistently.
I agree. All right. Anything to add there, JR?
Not really. I'm very interested to just see what happens with F2L, because I think Icon's a really good player, but maybe Lemur's going to have more success compared to the struggles that Icon was having. So I don't know. I'm very intrigued. Very intrigued.
Icon is such a streaky player, though, right? Where Icon could just like lose a bunch and then would just win a bunch. So it's always kind of hard to pin Icon down in the 3. I don't know anything about Lemur though, so I'm sure I probably should, but I don't. So
I think both he and Shiny Pants can hold it down in the 3 seed, because I can see that rotating a fair bit. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens.
Bill started with the first W.
Yes. It's overdue in Legacy, but it's just catching up with the rest of the series. I do want to point out Lemur, one of the most experienced THL players ever. He played in Season Alpha. Played in the first season THL's ever had. Been around for 12 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of history there. Took some time off, but Lemur has been there from the very beginning. And RIP Team Avatar.
He was my very first team captain.
Yep. He's been around for a long time.
Yep.
Well, let's give a cheer. All right, so this is the fun one.
Being here means I'm not the oldest player on this team, most experienced player on the team. I'm pretty sure I'm older than both of you.
Poor phrasing. I get to talk about Illy Dilly's Death Knights versus Pod People, which was JR versus a Ridiculous Hat.
Illy Dilly.
So I have it here in the notes. It says, Dano, don't forget to say nice things about Pod People this week. Our hat is on Pod People. Say all the nice things about how they are handsome and kind-hearted, and how Illy Dilly's Death Knights probably cheated.
Right.
So weird thing.
To say that while I'm here.
That's a weird thing to. I mean, I didn't put that there, certainly. So, I mean, it's in the note, so I had to read it because that's how that works. But all things, honestly, like Pod People it's a really good team that's not winning, and we're seeing the same thing with Dad Legend, right? And it's like you look at like a collection of players, and it's like this is a really good team, and then they're not winning, and it's like, well, this is weird. But all credit due to Illy Dilly's Death Knights. Catman having a heck of a season. Bummer about the sweep to Rhat, but it happens. Martin Brodeur in a close one against Zeroshio.
I don't think that sweep was a bummer at all.
Hey, I'm right here, you know.
I mean, I know that Catman was probably not thrilled about it, and I don't want to say that I didn't get lucky. Clearly it was a strategy, and I do think that there was some positive variance, but the prep was there. When I apply the same logic that I've used with every other team to here, look at Illidan's Death Knight bans, look at their prep, look at their strategy, and then look at the consistency of our decks on the right side. Clearly, Illidan's Death Knights was targeting Warrior hard. They got there, and it worked pretty consistently. Now, did not work against me, but it worked against most of our teams. Zeroshio was able to pull out a really nice win without Demon Hunter and with Paladin, because Zeroshio and Paladin, they go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yep.
But the 3, 4, and 5 was able to take it. It's the 3, 4, and 5 was able to take it, and Quirky Sweep as a sub. Welcome back, Quirky.
Way to go. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. I had this. Yeah, I had the notes for the slow clap for Quirky here, because welcome back, Quirky. Great job.
You have no idea how overjoyed I was by that tweet, and I say that as somebody who loves Saku to pieces. I literally told her, destroy Saku, but he's Canadian, so do it politely.
And apologize a bunch. Sorry.
I don't think she did, but if she did, that was
being
not my
low-key
instruction.
racist against Canadians right now.
I don't think so. I think I'm just playing into the cultural tropes.
The stereotypes.
Is that just the stereotype then?
Possibly.
I'm not going to say that
How about
it's
that?
not. Yeah.
But
it's been so much
I
fun
just wanna...
being on Tavern Talk, everybody. I think after this episode, I will be told not to return.
You'll be fine. You'll have to
kidding.
just write a written apology to the Canadian Bureau of Tourism.
Some of my favorite people are Canadian. There's Enthralmund and Mad at Arms, and then there's this other guy in THL. He's in chat a lot. No, not that. I don't like that guy. I'm kidding, Diamond. I like you. All right. So commercial break time. So please consider subscribing to our channel. Like, honestly, please do that. You get a sweet THL badge. It's free if you have Amazon Prime. And it actually helps us run the website, right? Which is a big deal. And it helps us put these streams up and have all these fun, nice things that we get to have. We have content every night of the week, I think now. So we have shows Monday through Thursday with Wild Now, and then we have Saloon, Hearth Center, and then Tavern Talk, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday we're streaming matches, right? So it's just bonkers awesome what we're able to do here at THL, and I couldn't be happier. My third season here, to be honest. It's time well spent every single week. So if you're interested, please sub. We'd love it. www.teamhearthlegends.com. Check us out. Join probably the coolest Hearthstone Discord, if not the best Discord in the universe, the THL Discord. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm supposed to be bringing up. I don't think there is. I wish that THL had a podcast. I just 100% wish they had a podcast. The podcast. Yes, THL is a podcast. The THL Power Ranking Podcast, THL POW. Isocles and Mad at Arms just killing it week in and week out there with all the hot takes. And it's awesome what they've done with the show after taking it over this season. I couldn't be more impressed what they do with prep and how they kind of work through their power rankings. It's absolutely awesome. So if you're not listening to the THL POW podcast, you really should. It's just awesome. So
right.
Don't add it to the notes, and I'll never forget again. Due to a recent settlement with the Canadian Bureau of Tourism, this segment brought to you by maple syrup.
I go for a glass of maple syrup right now. On a hot summer day.
Love me some maple syrup.
Anyone know how to sign help?
You can probably type it in chat.
Yeah.
I want to be more subtle than that.
All right, so it's This Week in Legacy. Starting with the Gold Conference preview, the Teenage Mutant Demon Hunters versus the Stubs. What do you think, JR?
Oh God, this is going to be super exciting. I wrote in my notes, I feel like this is going to be the hardest match to call because normally speaking, with the way Teenage Mutant Demon Hunters are playing, I would just give it to them. But I feel like the Stubs are going to give them a run for their money this week. Every single, even with how well Heat Shock is doing, he's facing Ron Mexico. And I mean, regardless of the fact that Ron is 2-2, that is a pretty even matchup as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, both these teams are 3-1 right now, and I also feel like regardless of what happens, they're both still going to be in really good shape when this is over. I don't think this is going to be a very one-sided match, frankly. So, my predictions are as follows. Even though this is probably blasphemous, I am predicting Ron to win in the 1 and give Heat Shock his first loss in Legacy. I'm giving Jimmy Eat Shoes the win over Big Ted. I got to give it to my boy Oz over Mumked just because hero teammates for life. Super Murloc gave me a lighthearted hard time about not not picking him last week because he was nice enough to get us our sub in Legacy. So I'm definitely picking him this week. And I'm giving Quaz the win over Rage Doppel. So Stubbs 3-2 win. That's
You're not giving Quaz the win because he's Canadian. That is not accurate. Please don't think so.
I'm giving him the win just because he's Canadian. Oh,
Yes.
Stop confusing me, Hat. Or I will start swearing again.
Okay, speaking of confusing, the 2-seed match, what is going on with the classes in the 2-seed match?
I think all of the awesomeness. What is going on with Big Ted though? That's like the spiciest spice, right?
Mage, Paladin,
Big Ted
Priest,
wins, I'll be
Shaman.
amazed.
You just almost don't even make a band because you just gotta respect the brains.
I mean, so that lineup is there's a very clear target for that lineup because we've seen people bring that in other series. Rebob and Berserk brought a very similar lineup in Pro, and it can be effective if you want to shut out Warrior, but it remains to be seen. I don't know. It's there's a massive PR deficit, so I think it makes sense to go with a risky lineup that has a hard target. I don't think that's a bad idea. And this is a super close match as well. But TMDH is they're hard to stop right now. I do think the winner in Heat Shock versus Ron Mexico is the spectators because it'll be on stream, so I definitely want to see it. But I do want to. I want to bet on Heat Shock. I can't bet against Heat Shock. 4-0, right? 4-0. Heat Shock. Jimmy, I think Oz actually has the advantage here because of the Priest, which is great over Druid, Hunter, Warrior. I think it lines up really well here. But I do think that Murloc has the advantage with Mage over Priest. Even though that there's that Quest Warlock. I'm not sure about that, assuming it's a Quest Warlock. And then I'll give that to Quaz in the 5 if he charges his phone.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, Quaz needs to charge his phone.
Charge your phone, Quaz. I think you're in the chat, so charge your phone. I've got Heat Shock, I've got Jimmy Eat Shoes, I've got your Mumked, I've got Murloc, and I've got Quaz. So 4-1 Teenage Mutant Demon Hunters. But I would not be surprised if Ron Mexico beats Heat Shock, and I actually kind of want to pick Ron Mexico over Heat Shock, but it's just hard to pick against a hot hand. So yeah. So moving on to Murgle McGurgle versus Annoyo team, which is much less annoying this season than last or previous seasons. Maybe not last season, but the first season for sure.
So Murgle McGurgle over Annoyo team. Annoyo buddies, this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be difficult. There are some pretty major PR gaps in the 2 and the 3. I do think GK's true PR is a lot higher. Now, with that being said, I know Totina's, I think their true PR is also a lot higher. So given the lineups this week, I'm going to give the advantage to Mad at Arms for Annoyo team and everybody else for Murgle Murgle. I don't really understand the strategy behind the top 3 there. I do think there's a lot more cohesion with Murgle Murgle, and they're just a team that's having more success right now. It's pretty hard to bet on Annoyo here. I think the win here is for Matt. And Dan, I hope you can pull it out with the lineup. But I think this is going to lean towards Murgle.
And then we do have breaking news actually. So in the 3 seed, in the 2 seed, Dibs, one of Buse's alts, was able to beat Zethund 3-2. So it was a close one, but just didn't get there in the end. So Zethund says he's happy about how he played, a little bit salty about how it turned out. So I can appreciate that. I have that feeling all the time. But yeah, so I think that I give it to a mage in the 1 for sure. I think that Zethan's gonna keep it close against Dibs. I'm just gonna guess that he's gonna keep it close. I'm gonna lose to Buse. Matt's gonna beat Debs, and Totinius is gonna beat G-Kick. So 3-2 this week for Noyo team instead of a normal 4-1.
See, I'm hoping to see the Inoue team bounce back, but I think it's just a question of when there are competing playtime demands. This is a very difficult format to be restricted on time. Very, very difficult format to be restricted on time.
I'm like I keep wanting to bet on Team Inoue team because of how much I love this team. So I'm giving TAT the win in the 2, 3, and 4. But I also know that that's not very popular, and this might be considered a bad take. So what do I know?
We'll see how it turns out for sure. So, but yeah, I think good job with Zethan getting the points, and I think that's a good way to start the week. It's not ideal, obviously, but hey, we have 2 more matches tonight. I think a mage is playing tonight still, and maybe Man at Arms, I think. So we'll know a lot more where we stand after tonight. So it should be fun and exciting for sure. Hot Zilfs. I need to mute that channel. That's probably coming through if I had to guess. There we go. Sorry about that, everybody, if it was beeping at you. So Hot Zilfs versus Amberflight Gaming. Itachi's back, and I imagine he's looking for his first win. It's a little weird being this deep in the season and having Itachi be over, but that being said, he did miss 2 weeks with Dragon Rider subbing in and Dragon Rider at 1-1, so nothing to sneeze at there for sure. Neju Boston just winning, like Hat said, Neju Boston does. I think this is the week for Christine, to be honest. Dande is just kind of struggling. I don't know if it's just the meta or he's just not feeling it or if it's a confidence issue. Like Dande's awesome. I love Dande. I think he's a great player. He proved that last season. But it's just the struggle is kind of real right now. And so I'm kind of expecting maybe Christine to kind of just get that monkey off the back, find that first win, kind of figure out Conquest, and then maybe move forward a little bit. I'm not going to say the same in the 5. I think Jim is feeling this meta, and I think he's doing well, right? He's at 2-2, nothing to sneeze at in the 5, which is all over the place as far as like different PR is concerned. And I know he's up for BGH. I think he's got to be top 6 maybe in Legacy for his win over Totino's Pizza as well. So and Anfal's been doing great this season, 3-1. So my predictions are I got Cole's winning in the 1, even though I think Itachi's going to keep it close. And Itachi's a great player. I just think Cole's is just feeling it right now. Christine is going to win in the 3, Anfal in the 4, and Jim in the 5. Give a 3-2 win to Hot Zilfs. Yeah. How about you, Hat? What do you think?
I can't bet against that experience and PR gap with Dande in the 3. I do believe that both of these players are capable of winning ladder games, but Dande's just played so many more Conquest matches, it's hard to bet against. The 1 seed match, I think it's really close. Itachi didn't bring Mage, which is unusual for Itachi, but if that Warlock is a Quest Warlock, that's pretty close. And I'm curious to see how the Druid does for Coles. I think that's a really interesting match, and Itachi hasn't got a win yet, but 0-2 is very different than 0-4. So I think
100%.
I would call that coming down to a coin flip. I'm going to give the credit to Coles here because he's my pro teammate, but that could go either way. I do think Dande will take the win. I think Neji will take the win in the 2. Pretty sure of that one. I would guess that I think it's actually really close in the 4 seed. I do think that Anfal is the better player, but I do think that, at least right now, but I do think that Bit has the better lineup. So I'm not really sure who I'm willing to bet on there. I think that'll be close. I'm leaning Anfal, but that could go either way. I am betting Jim, though. I think this will be a win for Zilfs.
Mm-hmm. I think Anfal's brings are a little bit interesting with Priest, which I feel like is a really risky bring now, since it's like real favored matchups aren't necessarily favored anymore. But the same could be said about bringing Rogue, and we all know where I stand about that. So
I think we're going to let that die now. Thank you.
Prove me right, Anfal.
Yeah. You know what else we let die? Rogues.
I will just say.
I love how you're like a rogue main, and I hate rogue. Why am I?
I don't
why
hate
am
it. It's
I
just bad right
why
now.
am I
Guys.
standing rogue?
Jesus
When
Christ.
people bring it, they lose more. That's all I'm saying.
I love this. This is so
I
fun.
think I'm gonna go with whoever said in the Twitch chat. I'm gonna learn Morse code right about now.
It's dash dot.
Yes, exactly. I will just say two quick things about this matchup. One, that I really do want to be wrong about my prediction that Hot Sylphs are going to win. I really think Amberflight Gaming's a strong team. This is just an unfortunate week where they have to play against a team that arguably has the second most amount of momentum in gold. So we shall see.
Why don't we jump and talk about as well we should talk about, speaking of momentum, we should talk about the Blood Bloomers versus Serenite Pain Gang. Now, the next matchup here, I do think that Blood Bloomers, they're coming off of a close loss. And Serenite Pain Gang, they actually have quite a few points on the board, even though their players, there's not really anybody with a winning record right now. But I think this is an interesting matchup. They're reasonably well aligned here. Now, I don't know if I can bet against Adam in the 1. That's a huge PR difference, and 4-0, and just a lot more playtime. This is a meta that rewards playtime. The class brings are weird for Blood Bloomers. They're very strange. They look like they're targeting probably a warrior target again, which I think is the safest target in this meta. That's what it looks like to me. But there's not a lot of consistency along the classes there. Either way, though, Sanguine over Bloodhunter seems like an easy pick because 3-1 over 0-4 with that big PR gap. The 3 and the 4 I think could go either way. I don't know how Darkside's Priest matches up against Medusa's. It seems weak to most of what's going on over there. And I think I'm going to lean towards Blood Bloomers because of the 1, 2, and 4 seeds. Even though I think the class brings from SPG make a little bit more sense to me overall. The Priest bring is a little risky right now. And when one player is Mage, one player is Priest, I'm going to bet on the Mage.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I'm actually making a change right now to my picks. Thank you, Hat, for that. So I think Adamos in the 1, talk about feeling it, right? Holy smokes. And then Sanguine in the 2 as well. How fantastic has she been in Legacy this season? Between Ator and Ekonami, I don't necessarily think, I don't like the Paladin bring a whole lot. So I think Ekonami in the 3, and then Medusa's in the 4 because of the class brings. And then Silver Tea Fox in the 5 to give it to the Blood Bloomers. So
apparently they Medusa's already played Darkside, and Medusa's won. So
damn.
Ooh,
yeah.
How smart are we? And by we, I mean you.
Yeah.
Then I'm changing my vote. So I'm gonna give Blood Bloomers 3-2. I'm gonna say they take the 1, 2. Oh wait, Darkside won.
Darkside won.
Oh, I thought you said that.
Never mind. I'm not changing
Medusa's
anything.
won.
Damn it.
No, Darkside won. Darkside beat Medusa's 3-1.
Oh, I thought you said Medusa's beat Darkside.
That's what I thought you said.
No,
yeah.
Darkside beat Medusa's because you know what I said about the Mage. Darkside's like, screw it, I'm banning the Mage, and then won the match. So
okay, no, never mind. I'm not changing anything. Gosh darn it. I'm gonna have the Blood Bloomers winning in the 1-2, and Serenite Pain Gang winning in the 3-5.
Cool. I could see that.
Yep.
Defias Brotherhood versus Always Top Deck Lethal. 2-2 versus 59 points versus 58 points. What do you think, JR?
Honestly, it's painful to talk about ATL. You guys went on such a whole thing before, and I was thinking to myself, man, I'm glad I was planning to save everything I wanted to say for talking about this match and not about what happened last week, because like for those who don't know, ATL started off the first 2 weeks winning 9 out of their 10 matches they played. Shunsui being the only person who took a loss during that period. They were on fire. You want to know how many matches they've won over the last 2 weeks?
Fewer?
1.
Oh, so a lot.
They have only won 1 match out of their last 2. 1 match out of their last 2 weeks. So, needless to say, they've come across quite a wall. I do think they're going to make a comeback here, but it's just very heartbreaking seeing like a team get off to that strong of a start and then fall backward just as much. Like they still got a decent amount of points, obviously, but this is going to be a week where I'm hoping that they're all thinking to themselves, we gotta get it together, people. We gotta win this. So for that reason, I am giving A2 the win over Lemons because, as we all know, Lemons did not bring Shaman, therefore he loses.
That's how it works.
Yeah, exactly, right? I said we were going to bring that up again. I was not lying.
It's 100% accurate. Like,
I'm giving Avogui the win over Free Hong Kong. That's the only win. I'm giving them that win. I'm giving. Hold on a second. I'm trying to do my math here. Yeah, no, I have Avogui winning over Free Hong Kong, Brick winning over Comp, Matty Ebbs winning over Nebkanuk. Don't sleep on that man. He's really good. And Mojo Powell winning over Shunsweep because the man is killing it in the 5 right now, and I'm still honestly shocked that he's a 5 at all. Rhat, you've played with this man. You tell me.
I don't know why he's a 5. That's ridiculous.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mojo
Just
in
like
the 5
your
is
name.
Yeah. Pond, don't add us. Pond, I see you. Don't add us.
What is he saying?
It's. So, anyways,
wonderfully nice things.
So, anyways, A2, I think, has the win here, but it's close. A2 has a substantial PR advantage, and Lemons is learning the 1 seed, right? That's a difficult seed to learn. I do think the Paladin Bring is really interesting from Lemons. I'm kind of curious about where that goes. I do think that Pond takes the win here. It's close, but I do think that Pond takes the win. The class lineups are a little funky. Again, it seems like Avogui is targeting something. I don't know if Druid consistently beats Warrior, and that looks like what it's trying to happen here. But I don't know if Druid consistently beats Warrior. But I also don't know what Pond is trying to target, or if that's just a best deck lineup. Paladin indicates there's some kind of larger strategy here. I do think that Brick takes it over Comp. Comp 0-4. Something's got to be going on there, even though Brick is bringing Rogue. I know Brick plays a lot of Hearthstone. I think this one goes to ATL. I have it to Brick. I give it to Neb over on Defias, but I think that let's see. I think that Mojo takes it, but the top 3 seeds, I have to give it to ATL.
Yeah. So I think I got ATL here. I think A2 beats Lemons 3-2 in the 1, just because Lemons didn't bring Shaman. Lemons, bring Shaman. What are you doing? You brought it against me and you won, and then you stopped bringing it. It just seems mean. I got Pond in the 2, Brick in the 3, Matty Ebbs in the 4, and Shunsui in the 5 for an always top deck lethal sweep. I got you, Pond. I see you in chat. Yeah. So move on to the Red Conference, huh? Before Desharmo drives up from Texas to Minnesota to rip off my head for going this long. So JR, good luck Albatrosses versus Beast Mode. What do you think?
Oh, that's right. I did have 2 in a row. I was like, wait a minute, it's me again? I mean, I'm going to just kind of quote. Dano was saying before, these guys look unstoppable in regards to GLA. Yeah, I would definitely agree. Like I said, they've only lost 6 matches out of 20. And it's these guys are just on fire. 2 of their players are undefeated. 2 of them are X1. Lotus Knight's the only one who's lost more than 1 match. And I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take to beat them. I mean, I really wanted my team to be a team that beat them, but it was just not our week. So, and they're going up against Beast Mode, who is a very strong-looking team, but they don't quite have the, they don't really have the results that you would expect from them, I would say. You've got some really strong players, I think, in every seed. I think they're still trying to find their way and really bring it together. But I think they're going to do better in future weeks. This is not one of those weeks where I expect them to do well, unfortunately. So I am going to give Avi the win over Lotus Knight. And I'm going to give 8-Bit the win over Chewbacca, but I'm giving the 2, 3, and 4 all to GLA, and I'm going to say they take it 3-2.
Yeah, I think it's hard to pick against GLA, right? So I've got Lotus winning in the 1. Lotus and obviously being 1 and 3 each is kind of crazy, right? So it's possible that they actually draw this when it's impossible to draw. That's my only assumption would happen is the universe is going to invert itself. So these 2, it's just bizarre. Inzi in the 2, just bonkers season. Desharmo doesn't like losing apparently. It's me, Mike V in the 4, and then I'm actually picking against Shu in the 5, and I don't know why I did that. I think I'm actually going to go with Shu in the 5 as well, giving it a second look at the class brings. I think it's going to be a sweep for GLA, and that's nothing against beast mode, which is a good team. But GLA was this good last season. I think they're going to be they're this good again this season, right? It's just a crazy good team.
I mean, I don't know if I follow the they were so they will be, but I do follow with what the luck are these class brings. Because the 4 and the 5 seed,
I see what he did there.
Copper Talon and 8-bit, what are y'all doing down there? There might be a strategy. I don't really follow it. I don't really see what these classes are all trying to do. And Copper Talon, if you bring Druid and Hunter, you don't get to play Demon Hunter. That's not DH. You got to play 2 separate classes. I don't really follow what's going on there. I currently have this as a. Let me make sure. Are we missing any results? Because what I'm about to say, I want to make sure that I'm not going to be proven wrong immediately. Let's see. Scrolling down. Okay, no results in. I think this is a sweep for GLA. I think they win all 5.
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
Yeah, I wish I
let's
could
move on.
say I think that's unlikely, but that's pretty reasonable.
Redacted versus F2L Red. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, JR. But here we go with Pee-wee. Like, seriously, my dude. Like, this is an insane run you're on. Like 5-0, and then like well deserving. So I got to cast one of his matches earlier this season and just played the heck out of his decks. So whatever he does, I just basically say, yes, he's going to do that. He's going to do well and win. And then he proved it by sweeping Ox already. So like, good work. That's a big ol' upset with some interesting brings. I really like Redacted this season. I know they've struggled a bit last year, but this is a super strong team. Although F2L Red is also really, really good. I do think they struggle this week against Redacted. Pasca's on fire in both Hero and Legacy. I don't know if he's in the other series. He's like 7-1 right now. And like whatever, I guess. Like you just can't lose. And I love Noglaco as a player. I think he's a really, really good player. Struggled this season, struggled a little bit at the end of last season. MMI is feeling it. So I don't like Noglaco to turn it around this week, but I do think he's going to turn it around eventually. Redacted having a really great season. F2L Red as well. I think both of these have a chance to make the playoffs. This week I do have Redacted winning 4-1. MMI wins in the 1. And then Pee-wee, Pasca, Electabuzz, and Snake in the 2 through 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have MMI down as the only win for F2L because I refuse to bet against MMI. But I think there's enough of a mismatch here in other seeds. You stack up the PRs. I would have bet against Agent because Ox, and I would have been wrong. Right? I would have made that bet and I would have been wrong. And Agent crushed Ox to sweep. I don't know what happened there. Pasca's doing really well this season, moved up to the 3, but still doing fine. Electabuzz PR, on this graphic, it says 50. It's actually close to 124. I think that one's actually pretty close. But it remains to be seen. I think that one, it could be a coin flip. I could see it either way. But I have Buzz down for now, just because I think Redacted is a team that has a little bit more success this season, and I'd rather bet on them. But it's really close. I do think Snake will take it over Lurper, though.
What do you think, JR?
This one I think is really close. I'm just gonna echo Hat on that because it's definitely, this could really go either way. I will just ask Hat quickly: would you have bet against Liquid Ox if the match results weren't already in the books?
I would have bet on Liquid Ox to win the matchup. Yeah, I would 100% have said that Ox will win.
Okay, because I won't lie, I would have done the same thing, and then I saw the results and just went, whoa. But I'm definitely betting MMI on the 1, Agent PWE for the 2, of course. I mean, retroactively at least. Pasca winning the 3, Lemur winning the 4, and Snake Fods winning the 5. So Redacted wins 3-2. But again, this could really go either way.
I'm on the Pee-wee MVP bandwagon here. So sorry, Pee-wee, for the caster curse there, but I think you're playing outstanding. Moving on, Dirty Mike and the boys versus Pod People. Our Hat, what do you think about your match here?
Of course we're gonna win.
Duh.
I mean, I hope so. I have no idea. It's close. I'm really glad that Wicked Good got a win already to make this a lot easier. I'm looking forward to my match against Fuel. I expect to lose because he beats me every time we play. And he plays faster than I do. And anyone that knows how fast I play understands how significant that is. I do. Zeroshio and Tony, they're from the same area in real life. They've played each other many times before. Hasn't found a stride yet this season, but they know each other well. And Zeroshio's just waiting for the breakout. And that Paladin buff, watch out, he coming. Oh Lord, he coming.
I wish I had the stones that Zeroshio has bringing Paladin, because I don't quite have them yet.
Zeroshio can't win without Paladin. He has to bring it.
I
That's how he
know.
wins.
Look. I love the man to pieces. He knows this, but really, him and Paladin go together like chocolate and peanut butter for some reason. Don't at me.
Yes. So I do think that Starlax is slightly favored in the lineup choice, but it's close there. I like the mage. And the no Demon Hunter bring from Surlos is interesting. So I'm curious how that plays out. Surlos is a great player. I have played against him and lost before. I'm not sure I'm willing to bet against him, but I'm going to bet on my own teammate when push comes to shove. And I do think that Saku will double his wins. Get that there. I think the 2, the 4, and the 5 are pretty good for our team. I expect to lose, and I think the Starlax matches could go either way. But I'm hoping that we win.
Yeah, I can. I think this is gonna be a fun one. I think for sure. I have Hat winning in the 1 because I always bet on Hat. Sorry, Fuel. Excuse me. Zeroshio brought Paladin, so Zeroshio wins. That's how that works. Starlax is from Minnesota. I always cheer for Starlax. Look good already won, and then I got Sako in the 5. So I've got a 5-0 sweep for pod people. So congratulations in advance. Hat.
And I'm giving Rhat the win in the 1, Tony in the 2. I'm going to say Surlos actually takes it in the 3. Wicked Good already won in the 4. And I'm going to say Astro Frog breaks his losing streak. I love you, Saku, but I don't want to see somebody go 0-5. I really don't. So I'm going to say Dirty Mike and the boys takes it 3-2.
Dan?
Ooh.
Dan?
Yeah.
Can you pick one of our matches to lose? Please do not commit to a sweep on air. Please pick someone on my team to lose right now.
So if I had to pick anyone, it'd probably be Wicked Good, right? Like, just if I had to guess.
No. I need a real commitment to a loss on my team right now.
I mean, like, if I were being honest, like, Paladin and Rouge is not a great pick, so it's probably Zeroshio against Tony Montana,
right.
but
you mean that pick. Thank you for meaning that pick. Let's move on to the next match. I really appreciate it. JR, why don't we go over Hearthstone Academy versus Chaos Theory?
It would be my pleasure. Just, can we avoid the conflict now?
I just want to make sure that my team is not picked to sweep, because we know how that goes.
Well, always well. Hearthstone Academy versus Chaos Theory. What do you think, JR?
So I find it, the first thing I want to point out is that I find it very interesting that both of these teams are kind of polar opposites of each other, because Hearthstone Academy lost their first 2 matches, and then picked up and have won the last 2 weeks and have actually started to gain a lot more momentum, while Chaos Theory won their first week in a complete sweep. They were at the top of the leaderboard, they looked really promising, and have not picked up a win since then. Despite the fact that they're clearly showing they're having decent enough results based on their records. So I feel like this one's a really tough call, because I still think Chaos Theory is really good. I think it is a matter of time before their 2, 4, and 5 seeds start to like really pick up some wins. But I mean, we'll see. It's a rough one. But I've made my decision as to the matchups. We have results are in now.
Wait, we already know Mako won the 4. It's on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like,
who are you talking to, Dan? Are you talking to yourself?
No, I was talking to Desharmo. I was looking at him over
finally
here.
lost it.
You can't tell that I'm looking at Desharmo saying hello, Desharmo. That's where he lives, in my house.
Yes, Dan, we're all looking at Desharmo. Yes, we are. I can see you right over there.
Desharmo is what he's trying to say.
This is fun.
Yeah, so I will say that Hockey Boys wins in the 1. I love you based, but Hockey is doing really well, and I've known him so long since I first joined THL. Let me see. Jesus Christ, hold on. This is what happens. Give me a second.
So
sorry,
this matchup, Sage
call
teams
on air.
Sage teams are hard to bet against, right? Like that's the thing is that they're like Batman. Is that when they're knocked down, they're never out. You're never out if you're on a Sage team. And Hearthstone Academy, they've made a career out of this. And this might be a new incarnation, but if we learn anything about HSA, is that the whole is more than the sum of its parts, right? That all these players together, working together, is going to get you better results. I also really like the Warlock brings. I think that Quest Warlock is in a nice spot here. The matchup Ghost versus Mike, I would give it to Mike, except for the Warlock versus the Priest. And I think that the Priest is kind of a weak bring here, whereas the Warlock is a very strong bring. And I really like the Hunters over on HSA. I think if it was coming down to classes, which I think it does, I'm going to sneeze on air. I'm going to give it to HSA. And I think that Hockey takes it in the 1. I think the 2 seed, I would want these 2 players and me in a Discord voice channel with a beer while they're playing. I think that would be really entertaining. Isocles is overdue
for subscribers.
Maybe. Isocles is due for a win, a nice PR advantage, but Boozy hasn't lost. And when Boozy's going, you don't bet against Boozy. I'm flipping a coin, but I think that everybody wins by how spicy that match is going to be. I'm giving it to Ghost because of the lineups.
Yeah.
I'm giving it to 2-star Mako because the results are on the screen, and I'm giving it to Sage because he's Sage.
I have HSA winning 3-2.
I got HSA winning 5-0. Hockey Boys is an incredible player, but I'm not sure how Paladin and Warlock work in the same lineup together. So I'm giving that one to Base.
You got Light and you got Dark, so they cancel each other out.
Oh, you're right. Should have put that two together earlier. Boozy's is unstoppable right now. I like Ghost. I would have probably picked F Srirachi beforehand, but 2-star Make It Art had the win, and then I like Sage against Barcode. 5-0. So yeah. I'm all about the 5-0s or 4-1s apparently.
The only thing I will also say is Based versus Hockey Boys is going to be on Schoolstone this weekend. So Based is also a host for that. So Lotus and I are definitely very excited to see that play out.
That sounds outstanding. I'm there for that, actually.
I know, right?
Right.
We took a break last week, so this week, come watch us.
And so I think last up we got Illy Dilly's Death Knights versus Dad Legend. So if Dad Legend's going to get anything out of this season, it's got to start right here, right now, right? So I mean, they're already in a rough spot, but they're a bonkers good team. So I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to just turn it on and win from here on out. That being said, Illy Dilly's Death Knights have kind of already proved that they are a legitimate playoff contending team. They're right on the bubble there. I think they're 5th right now, but playoffs are a little bit out still, so it's not like anything's been decided yet. So I think that just like if I were just picking on, if I didn't know what Dad Legend, how they had played in the past and how, I would say Illy Dilly kind of running away with it. But that said, Dad Legend can 5-0 sweep anybody. We saw that week 2. But it's not going to happen this week. So I have Catman winning in the 1. I have Dart in the 2, Myanodon in the 3, and Siege in the 4, and Turd in the 5 for a 3-2 Dad Legend win.
Hold on a second. So you're giving Rhat the win, but you're betting against me. I feel a little attacked right now.
Well, it's because you're here every week, and I get to kind of poke fun at you every week.
That's true, actually. Okay, fair enough. I'll give you that.
I actually thought I picked Illy Dilly to win until I read my notes there. I was like, I guess I picked them to lose. I think you guys are going to win. But
2 things of a special note here. One, I'm feeling super confident about this match because I'm definitely really excited to play Dad Legend. They're one of my favorite rival teams out there. Fun fact, I'm actually playing them in both Hero and Legacy this week. So let's go, boys. I'm looking forward to playing against Myanodon since I've never played against him before. And, I've just like with Rhat here, I've met him in person. So he's a wonderful guy. I'm sure he's going to be a wonderful opponent. But I get the pleasure of playing Yellow Dart in Hero. And oh boy, do I have score to settle there.
Sweet. That will be fun. What do you think?
It's going to be a very fun week.
IDK why this team didn't bring Demon Hunter. They're like, I understand there is some kind of strategy here, but the strategy included Rogue, and I don't really get it. Now, with that being said, still high player quality on both sides here. And also, keep in mind, Dad Legend, they do not get to play with Leroy, so I do think they have a handicap this season. No Leroy's in their deck, so it's going to be hard for them to get those wins. I have this as a 3-2 win for Dad Legend. Zabe, can't bet against Zabe. He's good friend
can.
and a very strong player. And I have played against him many times, and he's top 100 on the legend ladder right now. Like, I continue to be impressed by his ability and his poise. And he tried to talk me into guided guided meditation, which is something that I desperately need. So that's his hardest matchup of the week, is trying to convince me to sit still for a while. I do think that Dart over NHL NJ is close, but something that I think is that I think there was a misjudgment from IDK about what beats Demon Hunter, because Hunter, Mage, Rogue, and Priest do not consistently do that. In particular, I think Hunter might be a weak spot in this lineup. So I'm curious to see how that goes. But it's a very consistent strategy, so it's gonna be a pretty significant win. Either the strategy works or it doesn't, and that's going to define who wins. I think that DL is going to take the advantage here, because I don't think that the Hunter Mage Rogue strategy makes a lot of sense to me. Priest is a little bit better, because you can theoretically line up some wins against Warrior, but I think there are some weak spots in this lineup that are ready to be exploited. Now, with that being said, I do think that Siege takes the win for IDK in the 4. Just a little bit more recent experience and has been doing well overall. And Jerry, I like the class brings a lot in the 5, and it looks like he's still rocking and playing this week, right? Even though he's got his personal stuff going on?
He is, yes.
Yeah. 2-1. Jerry's coming back to THL and showing that he has a spot here, and I think in the 5 seed he's a very legitimate threat. So I think it'll be close. I'm not sure about the lineup.
For the record, though, I did not bring Rogue, so you should be predicting me to win for that reason alone.
Yeah.
I know what you're gonna say, but I didn't bring Demon Hunter, right?
Myanodon is a beast, and I don't really like betting against Myanodon. I have to choose one of you. I'm gonna give him the edge here, and I am excited for you to use that as disrespect fuel for your match.
You're lucky I have so much love for you, Rhat, that I'm not offended by this.
Hey, you're offended by me, though.
You can be
You're
offended.
different. I haven't met you in person yet. That's the difference.
See, here's the thing. We have to make a choice, because someone has to lose every game of Hearthstone. In this case, I think that you will do that slightly more than your opponent.
Draws are possible
In a game?
in Hearthstone.
In a
That
match?
has
game of
happened
Hearthstone.
once in THL.
Yeah,
Once.
in a match now. Anyways,
No,
we should keep going.
we're done.
Oh, well,
Oh,
great.
right, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, draws only happen when we hit the turn limit, which it looks like we're about to come up against.
Yeah. So thank everybody so much for coming. We do have some amazing matches coming up this weekend. So we do have the May Mayhem finals at 8 p.m. on Friday, obviously versus Heat Shock, and then Heat Shock just sticking around to play Rom Mexico in a legacy matchup at 9 p.m. Rom Mexico versus Heat Shock. That one's gonna be super awesome, by the way.
For sure.
Yeah, Saturday. You said we have at 2 p.m. Saku versus Shunsui. You said we had something else there, JR?
So we're going to have 2 p.m. Saku versus Shunsui, and then 3 p.m. Based versus Hockey.
Oh, yeah, that one's going to be awesome. Tune in
It's
for
going
that
to
one
be
for
a
sure.
very fun afternoon Saturday. I am very stoked. I'm looking forward to casting with both Based and Lotus. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time.
Imagine you will. And then Donde and I will show up this time. Donde, my sincerest apologies. We have Goose versus Twos at 8, and then Typhoon versus me, Mike V at 9. Those are both pro matchups. And then on Sunday, MMI and No Glocko are playing on stream at 8 p.m. So be there to watch that. And then our favorite Canadian himself, Diamond, versus the Big Ted at 9 p.m. So some absolutely fantastic matches, I might say. And so definitely be tuning in.
It's going to be good.
Anything to add, fellas?
I just wanted to say thank you to Rhat for being our guest tonight.
Hey, anything for you. And I also want to make sure to give a big thanks to the Tourism Board of Canada for being so understanding and kind to us over the years. Wait, aren't Diamond and Ted both Canadian?
I guess so. But that's my
forgot.
favorite Canadian Diamond. So
Well, I
that
thought,
just means
first
that
of all,
they're-
I thought
that
Saku
Ted
was
is
the favorite Canadian. So
Ooh.
how do we?
Well,
How
actually,
do we?
I think Enthrallment has to be my favorite Canadian. It's how that works. I don't think I'm allowed to pick any other Canadian. But
We need to have a
it's-
Canadian deathmatch tournament in THL one day. That's what's going to happen.
And then
You heard me.
Pond, yeah, we're streaming Goose and versus Twos and Typhoon versus me like V. Donde and I'll have that one. I'm not sure if you were making fun of me for missing the stream or not on Saturday, but
He
just
might
in
have
case.
been.
If he wasn't, that's a missed opportunity.
I agree 100%. I felt
right.
like a bad person, by the way, when I got the pings. I felt awful. It was a goof. Rhat, thank you so much for being here. Desharmo, thanks a ton for opping tonight, even though you're like sound like you're kind of really sick, bro. Like go get some sleep. The rest of you, thank you so much. Do you want a 10 p.m. match? Yeah, ping me and we'll talk about it. Thanks everyone, and we will definitely see you next week, I hope.
We hope so.